the Grey Hat Beard podcast. Hello and welcome to show 48, part 2 of Grey Hat Beard, the modern workplace podcast where we talk about all things Microsoft 365. In fact, I'm not going to do the Grey Hat Beard things. Go back and listen to part 1. I've covered all that there. Got a little bit overexcited tonight. So go back, have a listen to part 1 where we covered what I think was the biggest and best news of the year, whether we covered it or picked it up afterwards, and our thoughts on that. So do go back, check on your feeds, look on YouTube. While you're there, give it a review as well, wherever it is. I've just seen today, Spotify have just started adding reviews to podcasts. So, why not make Grey Hat Beard one your first? Oh, lovely. But we are here, as you can tell from our outfits. Garry may not look like he's in the festive spirit, but he actually has a black Santa on his black top. For those looking in the video, it's just very hard to see on this resolution. Isn't
I
that
thought
right,
that was snowflakes at night.
Yes.
Good one.
It's how you actually see Santa when he's delivering his presents. Just it's pitch black. You can't see him anywhere. So we are on to our festive special, and you'll be happy to hear that it's not just going to be us tonight. We have been very lucky to get some great people from the community who've come in and donated a little bit of their time and recorded some videos. So what we're going to do is play back some of those videos, have a quick chat about the kind of things they've talked about, and then at the end add our ones. So we've had some great people who are MVPs, others who aren't but probably should be, and some who may even be so. We know we have had the Midas touch for a few people on Grey Hat Beard to become MVPs afterwards, so you never know, there might be some luck for some of these. And what we did was ask everyone, I'm just really trying to find the list of questions now before I say it out. We first asked people, what big present would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? So it could be software, hardware, new feature, or just something different. What are your hopes and wishes for the community for the new year? I will admit I didn't think this one through, so we may see quite a few of similar answers for this one, sadly. Not sadly, because they're great ones, but maybe could have twisted that question a little bit, as you'll see as we go through. And then finally, what little thing would you like in your stocking this Christmas? And amazingly, we didn't get any rude answers to that one, so that was good. Al, Garry, anything you want to add, or should we just kick off with our first guest?
I think let's just kick off and see what people want for Christmas. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll admit that was a little bit of time so I can line up the first video. And the first one we have is Carmen. So let's click play and we'll go quiet for a sec.
Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm a Power Platform architect and low-code developer based in Belgium. I'm also a blogger, speaker, and I'm building an open source solution called Provision Genie, which can help you provision Microsoft Teams. What big present would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? What I would love to see most from Microsoft for Christmas, and probably in the next year, is that they build upon their the options to do co-authoring in Power Apps, Canvas apps, because now we have this experimental co-authoring where you can load the changes, but I would love to see them expand on that and go to actual full real-time co-authoring where you see what other people are changing at the moment that they are doing it, just like we have in Word and PowerPoint, for example. What are your hopes and wishes for the community for the new year? Well, I hope that we can start getting to see each other in real life more again, and without all of the restrictions. And I know that COVID is happening. Of course, this is the reality that we live in now, but I do hope that more and more events can go to in person again, because I love speaking to an actual live audience. I love it a lot more over doing online presentations, which is good because you can do it from the comfort of your own home, but there is nothing like that actual real life interaction with an audience when you're in the same room and you can actually look each other in the eye. What are you hoping for in your own stocking? Well, in my own stocking, I am actually hoping for a cute sweater for my dog, because I have a small dog, if you didn't know, and she likes to be warm. We have a stove. If she could, she would literally crawl into it. So I love to sometimes dress her in sweaters, but I cannot condone myself buying a lot of these sweaters. So I'm always hoping for some cute, maybe Christmas themed or holiday themed sweaters for her, because I just love it. I think it's cute and she likes it too.
Thanks for that, Carmen.
Microsoft sweaters for the doggy, I think.
Microsoft sweaters. Oh, now there's
with the Power Platform logo on it. I think that hits all of those, doesn't it?
Oh, ugly sweaters for dogs. Oh, I like that idea for next year. And could do some sort of dogs charity as well. No, I think that's a great one. And I have to say, her idea of the Power Apps collaborating, I am all over that. Absolutely agree on that one. That'd be really good to see.
Definitely, that's one of the things that I've definitely experienced with customers wanting to use Power Platform, moving from development of going, okay, yeah, we can get multiple people on this. Well, no.
That's an awkward conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, that would be perfect. We've seen it with the Power Automate kind of co-authoring in there coming through. So why not? Yeah, perfect.
That's a very good idea. Right. Next up, we have our Happy Hour Etiquette co-host. Yes, host of what we do with that. So I'm going to hand over to Karoliina Kettukari.
Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. Kevin asked me to answer to a couple of questions, so here we go. First of all, what I would like from Microsoft for Christmas is, of course, this super cool, fancy Christmas sweater I already have, so I think I'm fine. Of course, Surface Laptop 4 wouldn't hurt. I have the number 3 and it's been awesome, but newer is always better. Or is it? As for community, I really hope we can see each other live again next year. I actually was at Collab Summit last week and it was so awesome to see everyone, to perform live, to see each other presentations live. So I really hope we can do that all next year. And as for myself, I wish for a good book, like a real old-fashioned physical book with pages and everything, and maybe also a bottle of good red wine. I wish you all super Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and see you next year.
Well, I definitely like that idea of a nice book, and we'll certainly be having some nice red wine over Christmas. I think working with Microsoft 365 does tend to mean you need that by the end of the year.
Is your book going to be on Microsoft 365?
Nope. Something completely different. Go on there.
No commitment there.
Take a little bit of time off over Christmas. I think we've all seen that, and it was good to see Karoliina also talking about wanting to meet up live. I was definitely getting envy. I think I was messaging you guys both during Collab Summit saying I really wish I was there, but also glad I wasn't going through all the pain of the COVID tests and the various barriers to getting there as well. And a Surface Laptop 4. Al, do you need another laptop at home at all, or have you got enough now?
I definitely have enough. No, I'm loving the Surface Go laptop. Actually, it's very small, very light. But yeah, that does the trick very nicely.
And Garry, you've just gone for the Surface Book 3, haven't you?
Yeah, from a Surface Laptop 2 actually. So I kind of used the previous version. But yeah, I was for the format that it's in. It's a great kind of laptop for on the go. Obviously not quite the go, but having something that's a little bit beastier.
That was
a bit beastier
would have been
Christmas
great.
But, no, they're decent range. Yeah, I do like them.
They're all good stuff. Now, I will say I'm putting these into alphabetical order, and somehow it's happened that all the female people we have are coming up first on there. Well, it wasn't intentional at all, but apparently we know a lot of people at the beginning of the alphabets on there. So we'll go on to our next host, our next presenter, which is Kat Greenan.
Hey, Grey Hat Beard. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on the podcast.
I just wanted to come on and answer a couple of quick questions. So, what would I ask from Microsoft for Christmas or in my stocking this year? One of the big things I would say is get Teams DLP on the E3 license SKU. And also, I know they're doing this, but it would be great to get it sooner, which is filtering out the free content in Viva Learning. So the LinkedIn free ones, that would be really good as well. In terms of what I would like to see from the community in the new year, more in-person events. I really want to meet everybody. I've been speaking to so many people online, and even we do cloud conversations. I've not met Pete or Rue, my co-hosts, yet. So definitely more in-person events in the new year. And then what's in my stocking? I don't really ask for much at Christmas. It's all about the food. So I'm actually going to make a roast dinner every single day of Christmas. And I'm so excited for it. But thank you guys for having me on the podcast. I hope you have a really, really great Christmas. Can't wait to see what 2022 brings.
A roast every day of Christmas. I mean, just wow.
That's just too much, isn't it?
Well,
every day.
I disagree. That's ideal. I mean, I wonder if those are one of those 3 bird roasts, so you get kind of 3 on one day as well. But
was that a chicken inside a turkey inside a goose?
Something like that. I can't remember which way round it is, but yeah, it's. I keep seeing it advertised as the next big thing, which to me sounds very Henry VIII. I just imagine sort of sitting there, divorcing and executing wives and eating 3 bird roasts, but. Anyway, we had another one for the in-person events. I was lucky enough to meet Kat properly face-to-face at South Coast Summit, which was I can actually vouch for the fact she's as lovely in real life as she comes across on the podcast. Those don't know, she has joined Rue and Pete in the cloud conversation, so do give them a listen. And a properly good answer. I know she does a lot of security and compliance, but there was a fairly detailed answer of getting the Teams DLP into the E3 SKU on there. Al, is there any influence you can put on that?
I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? You want if you're going to have DLP, you want it everywhere. You don't have to pay for more. But I think for Teams, it's got to be automated, and that's the challenge with it. It's that auto magic part that you pay extra for. If they take the auto magic part away for one element, I'm afraid they're going to be opening the floodgates and have to take it all away and put it all into E3. But
which none of us would complain about.
Well, no, I thought her comment about the Viva Learning was interesting, to be able to filter the content, filter out the free content. That's quite an interesting idea for those that are paying for the content. They probably do want to be able to filter it. I hadn't realised that you couldn't filter it out, actually. So that would be something to keep an eye open for.
I was going to ask you about this one, because you can remove providers from there. So you can take like LinkedIn Learning or the Microsoft Learn as one of the available ones, I thought. So I wasn't quite sure what she meant there.
Well, maybe there's a conversation we should need to get her on and find out her lessons for LinkedIn Learning. For LinkedIn Learning, for Viva
Maybe
Learning.
Maybe that was the plan all along. There you are. There's your invite, Kat.
There you go, Kat. You got an invite to come and explain your experience with Viva Learning.
Yeah, tell us about
even
all
better
those
we get to find out Even better, we get to find out she listened. Yeah, we can see. I was going to say how much bigger she is after all those roast dinners, but that would probably get me in trouble. So.
Yeah, I'd definitely be out running in January if I was doing that.
Yes. Yeah.
I was just trying to think in my head how many Yorkshire puddings that would be as well to go with the roast dinners. That's quite a lot.
Now here's a question, slightly off topic for the Microsoft one. Do you have Yorkshire puddings with your Christmas dinner?
Yeah.
No.
No. See, this is the first I'd heard of it.
What?
It just sounds weird to me. Yorkshire puddings for roast beef, and that's it. Maybe if we do this next year, that'll be our question for next year.
Quite possibly. Maybe it needs to be a poll.
Half the people will be like, "What on earth is a Yorkshire pudding?" Anyway, moving on to someone who
quick before you give Garry palpitations.
Need to change this in the world.
Moving on to someone now, I reckon Luke would definitely have a view on Yorkshire puddings with Christmas dinner. Whether they had it or not, I'm not sure. But next one is Luke Evans.
Hey everyone, Luke Evans here. the wonderful gents over at Grey Hat Beard podcast asked, as a pillar of the community, I'm not quite sure on that kind of description, but I thank you for the kind words. If I could ask a few Christmas-related questions for their upcoming podcast. And yeah, I would love to tackle them. So the first one is kind of, what big present would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? It could be hardware, software, a new feature, something different. I think for me, I split it into two key categories. The first is hardware. I would love some Windows ARM devices or ARM processor-based devices that aren't absolutely terrible in terms of kind of performance and also software compatibility. From the software side, there's two real things that I would love to see. One is better Git support in OneDrive, and that may just be the simple kind of exclude folders would do the job nicely. Alternatively, the ability to understand Git, and if it lives in your OneDrive, that would be fantastic. The other one is more kind of a Teams and collaboration level. I would love the ability to kind of hop around tenants slightly easier, or not have to continually have multiple Teams clients open, or continually swapping and chopping different tenants. The next one was kind of, what are your hopes and wishes for the community in the new year? And for me, it's a relatively straightforward and simple answer. I only had the pleasure of attending 2 community events this year in person. I attended a whole bunch online, but I would love the opportunity to attend some more next year. So my wish for the community is more in-person events next year if the situation allows it. And the final one is more on a personal note, is kind of, what were you hoping for in your own stocking this year? And for me, it's a nice, simple one. I would really love kind of, I'm sure people will laugh, but I'm a big fan of Pokemon, so I'm after one of these replica Pokeballs that's metal die cast, lights up when you get near it, proximity sensor. It just looks awesome. Anyways, guys, thanks for having us, and have a great one.
Thank you, Luke. Go on, Al. You look like you want to say something.
So I'm intrigued to see what that Pokemon thing looks like. But that sounds like a home automation challenge, doesn't it? Automatically lighting up. It sounds like a guard Pokemon, doesn't it? Sounds brilliant.
It was intriguing. I've got 2 sons who've either into Pokemon or have been into Pokemon. I've never heard of this, so I'm definitely going to go exploring more and finding out. I dread to think how much it costs, but
yeah, it does.
I have images of Luke as a kid with the longest Christmas list ever. You ask him 3 questions of what he wants, and every answer has 3 different things in them. So there's a lot of want in that household, I have to say.
Yeah. There's holding back with the ARM devices that are not terrible. That's that's a review.
You were thinking Mac there, weren't you, Garry?
Git integration with OneDrive is an interesting one.
Yeah. There's the one problem with having pre-recorded is we can't go, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but we're getting a whole load of things to get people on to have conversations about in the new year, aren't we? We're going to have to explore that one a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to know the scenario for that. If you want to save your local files with source control, there's GitHub.
Double backup. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to speak to Luke and understand more about that, or if there's anything, a case of, if it's easier to do it than get involved with GitHub, then let's change that.
Maybe talk about replacing GitHub with OneDrive. There's an idea.
And moving swiftly on.
Yeah, very good one. Right, moving on to the next one, we have another one of our Happy Hour Etiquette co-hosts. It is the lovely cigar-smoking, whiskey-drinking Marijn Somers.
Hey, Grey Hat Beard people. Howdy. Warm welcome from me, Marijn Somers. So what big present would I like to get from Microsoft for Christmas? Oh, I'm just hoping for a new Teams client, one that doesn't eat all my memory, one that allows me to do super fast tenant switching, one where my private channels are just manageable and visible in SharePoint, where I don't need to choose between 3 task apps, and preferably biggest present would be the price of a Surface Duo dropping with 50%. So that would be awesome. What I hope and wish for the community for New Year is a year without worrying about what the future will bring, without worrying how healthy our beloved people around us are. A year where you can finally think about yourself, about relaxing, enjoying life, family, friends, and a year with a really good hybrid workspace where you don't have to go back to normal, but where you can go and embrace the new world of work. In my own stocking, I really hope there's a Surface Duo 2, but if that's not there, definitely that new List beanie and those List socks that Mark Cashman has been showing off. Those would be really cool to get in my stocking. And then again, the new Windows ugly sweaters, or the Microsoft ugly sweaters, they're pretty cool too. So those might be very cool as well. So that's it for me. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ciao.
I think Marijn is missing going to something like Ignite and getting a stock of branded clothes.
Maybe this is what people do. They just don't buy clothes. They just go to conferences, right? It's just
that's
swag.
I think quite a few.
I mean, that was the whole point of going to. I know there were other points for going to Ignite, but that was a key reason, wasn't it? He obviously likes the Surface Duo as well.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Did he get to have a play at South Coast Summit, Al? Or
No, I don't think so.
oh, I shouldn't have mentioned it. He's now going to know. Oh no, of course he wasn't at South. It was Converse. He was at, wasn't it?
It was Converse, yes.
So yes, didn't get the chance to play there. Yeah, and I'm hoping he's watching this. For those on the video, I do have my Windows ugly sweater just to taunt him with for this year. I know there have been a few going around.
They do seem to be in demand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think he's asked for a bit more responsive Teams client, though. I'm sure that will be on the list of many out there with, especially the tenant switching as well. Although,
tenant switching, I think that's been a high demand for ages, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Just to be able to not be in one tenant and go, oh yeah, that message is in the other tenant. Oh, I can't get to it.
It's so far away.
Of course, if you are listening and you didn't know, you can open different browser windows, open in private, set up different Chrome profiles, and if you have enough memory,
or Edge profiles,
thank you. It's so Microsoft. Then you can run teams.microsoft.com, have the different tenants in different browsers, and it does work. So if you are struggling, that is the way around it. But I'm absolutely all over, yes, let's have an easier way of getting that done. And fingers crossed, I know there is some re-architecting going on with a sort of nice Windows 11 version. So fingers crossed, we'll see a bit of that. So we've had a lot of people talking about in-person events and wanting to get back together. Our next person actually created an in-person event and ran it this year, and has got a very exciting keynote speaker announced, whose name I've suddenly forgotten, but it's the person from the Gadget Show. It's going to be keynoting. Jason Bradbury, thank you. That's the one. He's going to be keynoting Comsverse next year, so that will be very exciting. I know Mark's hugely excited. I will be honest, I don't watch the Gadget Show and I don't really know who he is, but I did watch a few videos. He seemed very good.
You see, he's not been the presenter for years. It's Craig Charles.
Is he not?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Craig Charles has been doing it for the last few years. Yeah.
Jason Bradbury did it when it started about 130 years ago.
Yeah. I remember when they did the first Gadget Show live, and he was there as well. Yeah. That was a big event. That was good.
So yeah, well, you have to come down to Comsverse. We'll have to have a grey hat beard session at Comsverse, definitely. But anyway, let's hand over to Mark.
Hello, everybody. It's Mark Vale from Comsverse here. Have Merry Christmas to you all, and a great shout out to the Grey Hat Beard podcast for allowing us this opportunity to share our thoughts around this festive period. They've asked us 3 questions. Question 1 is, what would we want for Christmas from Santa Claus? Now, if there was one Microsoft Teams feature that I would really want next year, that would be to have RTMP streaming capabilities in Microsoft Teams, so we can send a normal Microsoft meeting directly to YouTube or to restream and stream it out to the entire world, and that will make virtual events a whole lot more accessible to those who maybe don't have the Teams client or who just want to watch in the background. I think that would be a wonderful feature to have. So please, if you're listening, make that happen. if there was one thing in the community I would wish for in the new year, it would be for us all to just focus on the technology, focus on building the community into a stronger, more connected community of people who all share the same common goals, really. That's we have the love for Microsoft technology, whether that's Teams, SharePoint, or whatever. And in terms of what I would want in my own stocking for Christmas, I hope that my wife passes her last driving instructor test. She's worked really hard for it, and it's coming up next year. So anyway, I wish you all, wherever you may be, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a wonderful New Year. And I'll see you next year.
Now, I'm going to confess, I was listening to a few of these videos when I got them, I think it was a Sunday night, and I've been feeling a bit ill and a bit tired. And a few of them got me. And Mark's one was just lovely. That his Christmas wish is for his wife to pass. I think that was beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's the other one that he's got in there, that streaming RTMP. That would be quite an interesting one. That would open up a lot of potential for teams, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But I've heard a few people wanting, you might be about to say our live grey hat beard and have it straight up into YouTube.
We could do it live. God, that would be a horrible thought, wouldn't it? People would actually see all of the nattering that goes on before we actually record it, maybe.
They see all the editing that we do afterwards. I'm sure.
The bit that got me was Santa Claus. That's something I'm going to reuse. That was great. Yeah. I think that got me. That made me laugh. And yeah, connected community, right? I think just getting on focus on about the technology and everything, not having to worry about everything else. What's going on. But yeah, no, that was a great one. That.
Yeah, I do love a bit of Mark. Okay, up next we have Michael Roth. So let's queue up Michael.
Hey everybody, happy holidays. Thanks for having me. Okay, quick video, 3 things. What big present would I like from Microsoft for Christmas? Well, that's super easy. Not software, not hardware. Well, kind of hardware actually. Those Microsoft Christmas jumpers. Oh, for years and years I would love to have one. I love them. Never get one though. Keep the fingers crossed, right? What are my hopes and wishes for the community for the new year? Well, actually, to the pandemic to be over, because I see people struggling, and this is affecting a lot of people, myself included. I really want to reconnect with those awesome people out there, and would love to see you all again in a safe way. And in my own stocking, well, I'm kind of happy. I want everybody of my beloved ones to be happy and healthy, and that's it. Happy holidays.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for that one. That was another beautiful one at the end there. You can tell everyone's getting very emotional as it comes to Christmas, and in a really lovely way.
Well, I think that's it, isn't it? It's a common thing. The community question always gets we want to be back in person, and let's face it, that's always going to come back to everybody being healthy and safe to travel.
Yeah.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely true. So I think we'll keep things going thick and fast. And one thing, Teams is being a bit entertaining for me. So while I'm playing this, and hopefully you can hear these, and Garry and Al certainly can, I can't. So Al came up with a great idea of watching the transcription, which is working really well. Apart from every time someone says a safe way, it talks about Safeways, the supermarkets, which is adding some real entertainment to it.
Feedback to the product group.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get so obsessed with markets. Right. Next up, we have Office Development MVP. I was about to say Office Apps and Services, but I always get that wrong. Office Development MVP, Paul Bullock.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul Bullock, Office Dev MVP. So I've been asked a couple of questions from the Great Hat Beard lot. So what big present would you like from Microsoft this Christmas? Could it be hardware, software, a new feature, or something different? Well, being a person who loves gadgets, cool looking tech, I'd love to try out something new. So I've seen on the market the new Surface Studio laptop. Looks like a gorgeous device with the ability to draw, which is something I love doing. I wonder if Microsoft could perhaps provide me with one, or maybe claim off the expenses, Kev. But anyway, it's worth asking, hey. But another thing that I wouldn't mind, or something that I would really love actually, is Microsoft Teams have the visual technology to maintain the eye contact with people in calls. So whether it would be some sort of AI magic where your eye contact would be centered depending on where your camera is, but it'd be really cool to perhaps do that. I saw that Kickstarter project that you started, Kev, and it was a really good experience actually having that eye contact there. So the next question was, what hopes you were and wishes for the community for the new year? So, well, lots of contributions, of course, to the PMP script samples. I hope the community grows and continues to be a big positive experience for everyone. It's something that I'm pretty proud of being a part of. So, and I really enjoy contributing. So I hope that other people then can feel that and feel that they can contribute in a positive manner as well. But seriously, I'm missing in-person conferences, so I'm looking forward to the Scottish Summit and the ESPC 22 in Copenhagen. So I'd love to meet more of the community there. And then the final question was, what are you hoping for in your own stocking? Well, I'm probably going to get coal this year from all the bad jokes and puns that I've been making through the year. But hey-ho, we can't win everything, can we? So anyway, see you guys.
There was Paul, obviously with high hopes for Christmas.
Yeah, expenses must be quite good these years.
I was going to say, if you're getting Surface Studio laptops, then yeah. That sounds. Can you be my boss as well, Kev?
He's living the dream.
No, he's just dreaming, isn't he? He's not living it.
So living in a dream, yes.
Oh yeah,
that's
okay.
What I meant. But yes, I loved his Microsoft present as well. Not the Surface Studio. I would love a Surface Studio laptop, but his one about technology to have people look in the face would be great. The camera he mentions, I've got one that sort of hangs down the screen. I have to be honest, I've given up with because it started getting in the way too much and the quality just was a bit too rubbish. Couldn't show all my nice Christmas decorations behind me, so I've cut down a bit on using that. But I really did like that it kind of gave that connection and made sure I looked at people and didn't kind of drift down and look people in the eye and go, oh yes, I want to look at the camera, and then look people in the eye. No, camera, what I'm looking at on the screen. And there was something, was it Apple or someone had some technology that was meant to kind of readjust so it looked like we were looking at them. I can't remember if it was Apple or Android or one of those. There was meant to be sort of live updates to it that's coming on there.
Is that like painting, your eyes on your eyelid so you can pretend to be asleep?
It was the technical equivalent of that, that it would just kind of readjust, and you kind of think it couldn't be too hard with a bit of AI, but whether it kind of put little like Snapchat style filters and gave me big eyelashes at the same time, I don't know.
Maybe these new 3D avatars will do that.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. Yeah.
So you can have the camera looking up your nose and still look like you're actually looking at somebody rather than seeing up their nose. That might work.
That'd be good if you've got a Dell with the camera at the bottom rather than at the top.
Still the worst design of any bit of software I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. Great for Paul to call out PMP as well. He's been doing some great work on the script samples as well. I know that people are contributing across all the different technologies as well. It's not just SharePoint framework. It's got Power Platform in there as well. So yeah, really good. I'd love to definitely see more people get involved with that as well.
And the number coming through are absolutely rocketing. There's a huge amount of scripts in there, so which is really good. I know quite how tired he gets from kind of keeping up with those in the evening, but doing an amazing job getting them through. Next up, again, it's funny. I've put this in alphabetical order. We've had a lot of our female repliers at the top and the two CPS people next to each other as well, completely randomly. So, if your name's P, listen out. Where CPS are there to hire you. But next up, we have Peter Rising. So he's talking with his friend Rudolph.
Hello, Grey Hat Beard, and a very, very Merry Christmas to you from me and from my friend Rudolph here. Thanks to Grey Hat Beard team for inviting me to answer 3 Christmas questions. And question number 1 is, what big present would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? Well, as dull as this answer is going to be, I would really like the E5 licensing SKU to release poor old DLP for Teams from its evil clutches. It deserves to be further down in easier accessible licensing SKUs. Nearly got that sentence out. So if you're listening, Please do that for me, Microsoft. Next question. What are your hopes and wishes for the community for the coming year? Well, I would just like to see more and more great people entering our wonderful community. I've met so many wonderful people over the last couple of years since I've been part of it, and I would love to see so many deserving, hardworking individuals becoming Microsoft MVP. So I'm going to cross my fingers for that to happen. And finally, last question. What are you hoping for in your own stocking? I never really want anything, but I'm a gadget sort of person, and if I could have a gadget to play with this Christmas, it would probably be the Surface Duo device. But given how very pricey that is, I don't think I'm going to be asking for something like that. And I'd probably play about with it for half an hour on Christmas morning and then get bored with it, so it's not worth it. Anyway, Merry Christmas from Rudolph and I. And think less, live more, as the sign says. See you soon. Bye-bye now.
There we go. Thank you, Pete, and thank you, Rudolph, as well.
I do love his antlers. Pete's antlers.
They are entirely natural.
Absolutely. He's pulling off that Christmas look particularly well, isn't he?
Yes. And it did entertain me. And I messaged him afterwards that both him and Kat both co-host the Cloud Conversations podcast. Both asked for the same thing with moving the team's DLP to E3. And I asked him, did you two plan to ask for the same thing? He was like, no, and found it hilarious that they both had asked for that.
We'll have to listen to the latest conversations that they're having and see how much that's actually popping up, you know.
Yes, exactly. They're obviously obsessed with it somewhere. I do generally keep up, and I haven't heard them mention it massively, but it's obviously an obsession they have.
I'm getting surprised with the big interest on the Surface Duo. That's the second time it's been mentioned. I'm a bit okay. I kind of look at it and go, yeah, it's a great piece of tech, but I didn't realize there's so much demand for it. I guess it's with the price, right?
No one wants to pay for it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the no one wants to pay for it, but it's just a new form factor, isn't it? So it's intriguing to see how it will work and how it feels. It is one of those novelty devices at the moment because hardly anyone's seen them.
Yeah. You've been using one, Al. Have you used it properly, or is it still?
No, I've not used it properly yet. I was just thinking as Pete was saying that I should have brought it home from lockdown and started using it properly.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued. Now our next one is interesting. So when I asked the people, I sent out a link to people, gave them a link to a shared drive, which I opened up to everyone so they could drop their videos in there. I thought it'd be nice and not enforce any metadata. I thought I'd add the metadata with names and things afterwards. And somehow we have a random cat. So I'm not going to play all this video, but I'm putting it out there because I have no idea who this is. I don't recognize the voice. I don't recognize the cat. So I'm hoping if any of those lovely people we did ask that I didn't catch the name, maybe put a video of their cat up by mistake instead of what they're asking for Christmas. Perhaps you recognise this cat, can let me know.
What are you doing? Come here.
So yes, if anyone knows who's watched on the YouTube, knows whose cat that is, or recognise the voice, maybe we can have a competition. Who would you think that is? It could be the person, it could be one of their family, I don't know. But to the random cat, we do thank you for contributing to the show as well. Moving on from random cat into another random person, and that's Randy Chapman. So let me just clear out the cats from the playlist. Shush, shush. I really should be better at being able to do this properly. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely going to practice more next year and may edit this bit out. Next up, we have Randy Chapman from many places, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, thanks for listening to Grey Hat Beard Podcast. The song Drink Up My Mateys was a short video answering a couple of questions. So here it goes. Non-commercial
what
attribution
big present
license.
would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? Well, there's a lot of roadmap stuff that I'm really looking forward to for Microsoft Teams rooms and other things. So the first one would be shared channels. I'm so looking forward to that. I think it's going to be the end of the traditional kind of tenant switching for guest channels and stuff. So that's 1. 2, dual cameras in Teams rooms. And number 3, intelligent cameras and intelligent speakers. What are your hopes and wishes for the community for the new year? Well, I really hope that everybody gets what's on their wish list, not just me. What are you hoping for in your own stocking? What I'm really hoping for is that next year is a lot more normal than this year. All these travel restrictions and all that kind of stuff are a bit of a bummer. Got some really cool stuff coming up next year, and travel will be mandatory. So I'm really hoping to get to do these things. Happy Christmas and Merry New Year.
Thank you, Randy, from many places. And just not to talk because I couldn't remember where he worked. And I don't think he said this. Just to make people trucking. Any thoughts? I mean, I know Randy does SeaWorld. Any thoughts, either of you?
So I've been doing a lot around the hybrid spaces and those multiple feeds into the Microsoft Teams rooms and those intelligent devices. Yeah, absolutely. They are what everybody is waiting for at the moment to make the whole experience more human focused. I've been playing with some of them as they've been released, but can't wait to see what comes in the new year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the kind of reality behind them versus what was promised, because I think there's a lot of expectation, and certainly the videos and what I'm hearing is they should be pretty close to that reality, but be good to get them out in the wild and get some feedback on them, definitely.
Yeah, again, the tenant switching. I guess this is the let's not have the tenant switching, let's just get around it, right? With the shared channels, and I think so that's something that's a definite pain point, and hopefully that's going to start to help as well. So a good shout on that one.
So next up we have Simon Doy from I think 365, who does a lot of great work with the maturity model for Microsoft 365. Now, Simon, much like Luke, who thought he could get a few things in for his single question, Simon thought of one and then suddenly remembered afterwards and tagged another one. So I'm going to allow him this double header. So you'll hear his most stuff, and then he had a different one. And I will be honest, because that's one of my favourites as well. So I'll let him sneak that one in. But over to you, Simon.
Merry Christmas, Grey Hat Beard. Thank you for inviting me to take part in your Christmas podcast. I'm Simon Doy. I'm one of the leaders of the M365 North user group. It's had a few different names over the years. We're now 7 years old this year, which is crazy to believe. I think I've been asked 3 questions for your show. So what big present would you like from Microsoft for Christmas? So I was really surprised by the announcement at Ignite that Power Apps became a pay-as-you-go model, which I'd love it if they would continue that for Power Automate. I think a lot of avenues with customers and people embracing the platform. So I'd love it if that continued on to Power Automate. What are your hopes and wishes for the community for the new year, for 2022? I mean, I can't believe it's 2022 already, but to be honest, I really had a great time at the European Collab Summit in Dusseldorf a couple of weeks ago, and I'd love it if we continued the in-person events. We did try one, it was not that successful, but I'd love it if those continued and we got more people coming. It's great being able to meet virtually, but it's even better in person. So I hope that happens. And I just hope that the community continues to grow and people continue to sort of embrace new people and allow people to get involved, which I think in some respects it's better than it's ever been. I would also love it if my wife's rota coordinators would enable it so that they don't always seem to have my wife working when there are such big events. So that would also be a nice thing. What am I looking for in my own stocking? Well, apart from the obligatory orange, the new Xbox would be nice. Some cool Lego would be good. But to be honest, next year I'd really like just to be able to do a bit of travelling again and go and play in the snow and maybe go on a holiday. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So a bit bored. I'm looking forward to what the kids get for their Christmas present. So hopefully it'll be something that we can play. Anyway, have a great break. Thank you so much for doing the podcast. It's a great show. I really enjoy your discussions and keep on doing it. Okay, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye. There was one other thing from Microsoft. I would love it if the Viva topics and all the topic cards finally gets rolled out across all of the Microsoft 365 platform as originally announced. I think that's going to be a big occasion when that happens. I can see that in our business we'll use that a lot, and I can only imagine what other organizations will make of it. Okay.
So I said that I agreed to add on the extra bit for Simon because I liked what he said there. Also, the stuff about how happy was that helped as well.
There's Viva Topics as well, right? It's it's right your alley.
if you want to get played, Viva Topics. That's all you need to say, isn't it? That's your magic words, isn't it?
Well, it certainly helps with things. And to be fair, just Viva works. Viva search. Yeah, exactly.
I thought his idea around the pay-as-you-go for Power Automate was an interesting one as well.
Yeah, really intriguing. I never really thought about that, but no, it's a good point, and it'd be interesting to see how the kind of pay-as-you-go plays out as well. But I don't quite see how it works with Power Automate. Would it be when one person uses it, they get charged the license, or I don't know, but
that would be something to investigate, wouldn't it? But yeah, interesting idea.
Or even to be able to pay for a single premium element, like the web call, rather than to pay for the whole thing. Intriguing. Never really thought about what else that could be applied to. Could go further. Power BI, could you pay for number of reports run there and number of people who view it as well? So if people don't view reports, that would be a very interesting one that could kind of open it up and make it easy. But
just imagine calculating how much something's going to cost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which in some ways then people may go, well, actually let's just throw in the license, at least it's guaranteed then. So could be an interesting move with that one. And I do think with the Viva Talks, I'm fully with him. Just being able to get the rest of that vision, that ability to see it everywhere, I think I've certainly seen people being interested in it, but not absolutely really excited. I think bringing everything else in, it'll be massive.
When it moves into all of the platforms, all of the tools that people are using, it will really come to life then.
Yeah. So I think 2022 could be a big Viva Topics year. So, right, so let's rock it through the rest of these. We have next Mr. Steve Goodman. I said Randy was off of lots of places. Steve Goodman even more so. So over to you, Steve.
Hello, Grey Hat Beard listeners. My name's Steve Goodman, Microsoft MVP, and host of the All About 365 and Practical 365 podcasts. Now, if I could have anything from Microsoft this year, it would be all of those Microsoft 365 roadmap items we were, well, not promised, but were scheduled. But I know that might not happen, and fair enough, it has been a tough year. So I would like, if I could have an early Christmas present, the LinkedIn Live streaming feature for Teams, because as we go back to these in-person user groups, we still want to get those out to a wider audience. Now, talking of community, I do hope in 2022 we get to see each other more often, because it was always so great to have conferences every few months, and it was good to have them over the last few months as well and catch up and see people. I hope for more of that, more in-person user groups, proper Microsoft big conferences that we can all fly out to would be absolutely fantastic as well, because working from anywhere, you don't have to go to the office to work anymore, but if you want to get to know people in depth and spend time with people, peers in other businesses or other industries, then the place to be is conferences and user groups, right? Now, if I was going to ask Santa for anything at all, it wouldn't be any more technology, because I think I'm done with that. I've got enough, to be fair, but I would like some more stuff to go on the shelf behind me. So I have asked my wife for stuff which felt a little embarrassing to write about, like Sonic stuff. And yes, this is my Christmas jumper. Transformers stuff. I do have Optimus Prime behind me. Maybe Megatron. They could have a battle while I'm in a meeting. Get on with stuff. Maybe Starscream, Bumblebee, all that sort of stuff, and a bit of Marvel stuff as well. Those are on my list, so I can keep my fingers crossed for Christmas Day. And of course, I do hope for a healthy family, and I hope yours will be healthy as well. So have a fantastic Christmas and a wonderful 2022.
Thank you there, Steve. And I love the Transformers. And just to warn you, I don't know if you'll be able to see. For those who couldn't see on the video, he did have a Sonic jumper, and the Transformers he's talking about, I do have on the shelf behind me a Back to the Future car that is actually a Transformer as well. And Transformers just to make you really jealous if you listen to that, Steve. So I'm well and truly with him on that one.
So I'm loving his Christmas jumper. That Sonic one. I'm always Steve there on Sonic. Yeah, that's my childhood right there.
What, Sonic and Transformers?
Well, definitely Sonic. Yeah.
Al Sonic, I guess, before my time.
Way before my time. Yeah. I've only ever seen Transformers in the films. I've never seen anything, plastic pieces of toys and stuff like that. No, never had any of that.
A very memorable Christmas as a child was unwrapping a Mega Drive with Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. So you've just brought back some good memories there, Steve. So thank you very much.
And it's funny how these things come around, because my son's been, my middle son was well into Sonic and had a Sonic woolly hats that had all the kind of things sticking out the top as well, and loved it. So I've been thinking a little on Microsoft 365. It was interesting that Steve also brought up that LinkedIn Live streaming as well. So I think it was a really interesting point he had about having it as for hybrid meetings. So being able to have those meetings in place there via Teams, stream it out to as many people as possible. I know Al from the Power Platform UK, trying to get people in on Teams and sign that one up is certainly a faff. To be able to get it out so people could watch them whenever they wanted, I think would be a really good way out as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where hybrid user groups are really going to come into their own, when you can do that truly hybrid experience.
Yeah, hopefully so. Next up, we have someone who looks very, very Christmassy, which I'm quite impressed by. So I'll hand over to Tom Morgan.
Hello, I'm Microsoft MVP Tom Morgan. The big present from Microsoft I'm looking forward to this year is the GA of the Teams interop for Azure Communication Services. We've been promised it by Christmas, so fingers crossed. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to open up all sorts of new B2C applications. Very, very excited for that. Absolutely. My hopes and wishes for the community in the new year. I think towards the end of this year, we had just a glimpse of what in-person conferencing was like again. Content is not community. It's about so much more than just the content. Getting together, networking, trading ideas, it's been so valuable. If we can keep some of that into next year, I think we'll all be much, much better for it. And personally, what am I hoping for in my own stocking this Christmas? I want to have the Christmas we didn't have last year with the family, with my parents around, big Christmas dinner. For me, that would be amazing. Whatever it is you're doing, have a fantastic Christmas, and I will see you next year.
Now, what I love about some of these videos, especially the Microsoft bit, is how specific some people are about some of the elements that maybe none of us have thought about. And I think the GA of the Azure Communication Services is probably not something that many of us thought about. But I did see Tom's session at Comsverse about the communication service, and it's fantastic. So I'm with him there, but I love the variety we've had from people.
I love the point that Tom makes there, that actually content is not community. I think that's actually sums up really nicely, why everybody's going, we need to be together and to do that networking, because content does not make community all on its own. It is all of the peripheral networking and communications, chats, it's all of that really makes community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, right, of how we miss those chats, right? The SharePoints were always, after the sessions, we have a drink and then have a chat, and that's where you can bounce. Yeah, exactly. But that's where you bounce the ideas around. Maybe, I've been doing this thing with work. What have you been? Oh, actually, there's this, and then before you know it, you're snowballing, right? And that's the bit that is missed, and yeah, definitely those are the bits that I always look forward to. Definitely.
Absolutely agree. And in fact, the gentleman we have on next was someone I was chatting to about hybrid apps and things like that, and came and found me afterwards as I mentioned it to him, and had a few other things to help me with that you just wouldn't get from a virtual event in the same way. So a lovely guy, and that's Yannick. So over to you, Yannick.
Hey, this is Yannick Reekmans, Office Dev MVP from Belgium. I got asked by the grey head beard people to answer a couple of questions for their holiday podcast. So, first of all, there are some great and awesome things coming on the roadmap, and some are still under NDA, but the one thing that I really wish for Microsoft to deliver next year is a proper in-person Microsoft Ignite event. So we can meet up with 24,000 people from the community, learning new stuff, partying, like all of this has never happened before, and get back to it. So this is also my wish for the community, the ability to have more and more in-person events again, so we can meet each other, so we can travel, because this is what makes our community great, the ability to see each other, share knowledge, and share a couple of things over a beer at the bar. And then in my own stocking, the one thing that I really, really wish for this year is the ability to celebrate properly with my extended family, like we couldn't last year. So this is what I really like or hope for that we could do in a couple of weeks, meet up with everybody, celebrate properly, because we deserve this. So happy holidays, happy new year, see you in the next year, have fun, bye.
Motion in that one.
Yeah, do you reckon Yannick's missing having a party? I think so. It was in-person events, partying, beers. There we go. Get that man to a party.
How can you go wrong with that combination?
And the problem is,
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Having seen him at Converse and South Coast Summit, I think he enjoys a party, definitely.
Right.
I think that's fair to say. But no, lots of those together. And I did, for those who are listening on the podcast, Yannick has a fantastic Merry Whatever jumper that I'm intrigued what's on the rest of that. But
yes, I'm intrigued by that as well. I've just seen Merry Whatever. I love that. That looks really good. But if it has something below, I'd be intrigued to know what that is.
Absolutely. So lots of really good answers. I think, as I said at the beginning, I probably should have thought about the community answer a little bit more, because most people were let's get back together, which I think holds true as well. So Alan, Garry, I'm going to let you off that one, but unless you want to add something different to the in-person events on there. But let's go round. Who wants to go first with your own answers to these?
I don't mind.
Well, go on, Garry.
So the present. So this is quite specific, but very, very simple. And I think
this is a present from Microsoft, and you're not going for pay rise on this.
No,
okay.
Not yet. Very simply, the ability to group my teams. Very simple. It's painful when you have a lot and you want to keep in those teams as well. I just see it as it's such a simple thing that hopefully it'll be able to be done pretty easily. But I'm sure that will help a lot of people, especially as I found joining a large organization. There is a team for everything. That list soon gets big. So community hopes, I guess for me, definitely it would be increasing the number of contributors that we have to CLI for Microsoft 365. Of course, the in-person events, but I still think there's a long way to that people can access the community when they're at home. Things like the CLI, like the PMP script samples, contributing your the things that you've worked on, or helping a project get bigger or add new features, to just help people on that kind of learning to just get involved. That'd be something that I would hope for as a improvement for next year. Stocking filler, it's a bit of an expensive one, but I'd love a HoloLens. Yep. And now you
Al's gonna show off.
There we go. So I'll send you my address. You can get it here before Christmas. So I'll make my Christmas dreams come true. But yeah, I'd love a HoloLens in my stocking.
Oh, it's a shame I can't give you the HoloLens, but if I could, I would.
Oh, it could get mislaid, right?
Yeah.
It already has been by the look of things.
It's appropriated, maybe. It's okay. We know exactly where it is. It's
working from home.
Yeah, working from home. So I might have to change what I want. That idea is brilliant for organising teams. So my one was shared channels, because just so many chats going on that I just want it in a channel which I can share with a team, and actually have that control and that governance over it. So shared channels, I really want those to come through so that it's easier to share internally, it's easier to share externally, and there's not a propagation of just loads and loads of conversations that are hanging off meetings or random communications.
Switching tenants all the time.
Switching tenants, and just being able to go, right, we can bring people in, we can remove them. Easy management of who's got access.
Can I throw in a wish and that it doesn't cause a governance nightmare as well? Well, always slightly nervous that could come as well.
I have no idea what the governance looks like for shared channels, because I've not seen them properly working as they're supposed to. But it does sound like it's quite an interesting challenge for, looking after the back end security. And I don't know how the labeling and all of that kind of stuff works for them, but I want to see what they look like. So I think events, community, more in-person user groups. I think that's, we talk about the conferences, but I think user groups, I really miss going up to London and doing the user groups up in London, and actually, just having those more, I guess the monthly user group, going up and seeing people, that really actually, I miss that. So I'd like to see more of the in-person user groups coming back. And in terms of my own stocking, so I spent a weekend this year going up to Cumbria and making a wooden box. I'd like to spend a week this time making something a bit more sophisticated, because it was great fun and I've really enjoyed it. So that would be my stocking.
Is that planned, or is that still a dream?
No, that's still a dream at the moment.
Okay.
It's not a cheap hobby.
Yes, I can imagine.
And also it's time away from the family as well. So need to manage it slightly delicately.
Yes. Okay, so for me, I think Simon slightly stole mine when he talked about the Viva Topics, because I absolutely would like to see Viva Topics take off, be everywhere. If I was going to take a particular slant on top of what Simon said, that ability to pull the content from outside as well, so be able to hook into other systems, people who've got ServiceNow, pull that data from Dynamics and other ways, have it all involved with search, what you can do already, and really for it to become that central knowledge system. I really think it can just to make it easier to organize your knowledge and stop some of that reuse that goes on, would be really, really nice. Everywhere. So I think seeing Viva Topics reach its potential that we've hoped for since Cortex was first announced would be that one. When it came to community, again, more in-person events. I love your idea of the more user groups. I absolutely agree on that one. I think also it's kind of a wish I can actually make happen myself, and that's to get more involved in some of the P&P stuff and to actually get a bit more hands-on there. I know Garry very kindly helped me out the other week to sort of get some CLI stuff going, but I'd really like to kind of get involved in a more substantial way with some of those. And the reality is it's me organising my own damn time to be able to do that. I'm matching some more time with 3 kids and running a cub pack as well. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but my aim for the new year is to try and work some time to become more of a contributor to some of those communities. As for my stocking, Lego. Just Lego, lots and lots of Lego. I've kind of been digging through bits and pieces. Really just love that kind of stopping and just following some instructions, getting it done, letting your brain relax, and maybe wander off to a few other things. It's such a hectic world we live in. To have a little bit of time to let your brain relax has been fantastic. So I'm hoping for piles and piles of Lego to work through, and maybe even some of those little cupboardy things that I can put all the bits that the kids have left absolutely everywhere. do you know, I would love, you talk about a week off, I'd love a week with the kids out the house to take all that Lego and just sort it out and find out what kits we have that my little blighter of a 4-year-old has torn to pieces, and then put bits everywhere, because I think we've got some amazing kits that I'd love to display, but there's literally a box like this big as I can reach with my arms full of bits, and I've no idea what the things are because the kids have thrown the instructions away. But I don't think that there's a Lego AI app that you can just pile out Lego, it'll recognize all the bits and tell you what kits it could be from. So if I had a week to play around with that and kind of rebuild all the stuff, that would be a dream.
Yeah, that's it, without the instructions there. That's a challenge, depending how sophisticated the Lego is.
Yeah, some of them's quite nasty, but I know they've got the Lego Movie spaceship, and I was so cross my son took that apart, and want to make that back up, and then that might go behind me as well.
It's like you found an extreme version of Lego.
Extreme Lego.
Yeah, just throw everything in a big bag and then just go, right, what can we
That's
build?
an idea. Turning it to a TV show and they'll sort it out for me. That is a good plan. I like it.
Isn't that called Sort Your Life Out? That's an actual show.
Yeah, my wife has been talking about going on to that, but that is a different story. We'll keep us rambling for hours if we carry on with that. I want to say, I suppose my one big wish is also that we carry on with Grey Hat Beard, keep it going all of next year. I think it's certainly been my one little bit of fun every 2 weeks, being able to chance to chat with you two and a chance to chat about the Microsoft 365, get some amazing guests on. I'm hoping to get some more guests next year and I can be a little bit more organised. We already have some lined up, but
we've already identified a few to invite on to explain some of the some of their desires and wishes for the new year.
Get in OneDrive. What the hell are you talking about, Luke? Maybe it's a Git in OneDrive. Maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know.
There's a dark tunnel to go down there. We should probably just carry on moving.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that final wish is to try and work out a way that we stop Grey Hat Beard without rambling. So let's wrap up nicely. This is our last show of the year. We'll be back in the new year as we move on to the next recording. I hope everyone is either having or has had or about to have a fabulous Christmas. Spend some time with the family. I kind of hope some of you aren't listening to this, or maybe listen to it while you're doing the washing up, spending time with those who are close to you where you can, whether it's online, virtually, or whether it's in person, whatever's happening. Enjoy it. Have a few smiles, have a few drinks, and happy Christmas and happy New Year from Grey Hat Beard. Bye-bye.
Indeed. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.